contradict the official story being pushed by federal authorities. And I'm going to say this plainly because the truth matters. The federal government is lying about this killing. They're lying to control the narrative. They're lying to justify the unjustifiable. And they're lying to shield an officer from accountability after a mother was killed. There's video, there's eyewitnesses, and we will not accept lies in place of justice. According to eyewitness accounts and video evidence, the ICE agent shot Renee Good in the head at close range as she attempted to drive away. She was left bleeding in her car, and the agent walked away carelessly from the scene without even rendering aid. In any other case, that would have resulted in an immediate arrest if one of us did the same thing. Federal officers are not above the law, and federal employment does not confer immunity from accountability. Local and state authorities have the legal authority to investigate, arrest, and charge a federal officer when there is probable cause that a state crime occurred. Federal law does not prohibit that. What federal law allows is for officers to raise defenses later before a judge, but not to avoid arrest altogether. That is why today we are calling on the Minneapolis Police Department and the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office to immediately arrest the ICE agent who killed Renee Good. This killing did not happen in isolation. It happened on the first day of what Kristi Noem and the Trump administration themselves described as the largest ICE deployment in U.S. history. Minnesota has been deliberately targeted. Communities have been terrorized. Schools have been disrupted. Fear has been weaponized. And this is the predictable result of that recklessness. Renee Good was an American citizen. ICE is an immigration enforcement agency. Immigration law does not give ICE authority over U.S. citizens for immigration enforcement purposes. That fact alone raises profound and urgent questions about why she was targeted at all. And those questions demand answers. Renee Good was killed just blocks from where George Floyd was murdered. This community has already paid an unspeakable price for unchecked state violence. And we will not accept another name added to that list. We're also calling on Congress to act. Congress created ICE. Congress funds ICE. And Congress has a responsibility to exercise immediate oversight, suspend funding for ICE's enforcement operations, and enact reforms to prevent this kind of violence from happening again. We further demand the immediate preservation of all evidence related to this operation, including deployment orders, internal communications, and use of force reports. Accountability requires transparency, and evidence must not disappear. Today, we are demanding action, not excuses, not delays, and not media spin. We demand the immediate arrest and prosecution of the ICE agent responsible, the public release of the agent's name, full disclosure of all video and body camera footage, termination of the agent's employment, the withdrawal of ICE from the state of Minnesota, and the establishment of a victims' compensation fund to support Renee Good's child and family. This is not about vengeance, it is about the rule of law. When the government takes a life, the burden of accountability is at its highest. Silence is not neutrality. Delay is not due process, and lies are not justice. When a federal agent can shoot a mother as she drives away, leaving her bleeding in her car, and face no immediate accountability, that is not law enforcement, that is lawlessness. In this matter, the rule of law demands an arrest. Next, I want to call up Jaylani Hussein, the Executive Director of CARE Minnesota and a longtime advocate for racial justice and police accountability. Please welcome Jaylani.
We are here today to stand as a community once again at a familiar crossroad here in Minnesota's history. Not nearly a little more than 5 years ago, Minnesota witnessed one of the worst police killings in this country, the murder of George Floyd. And today, nearly a few blocks away from where George Floyd was killed, Renee Good was killed. We learned a lot after the murder of George Floyd as a community, as a nation, as a country. And today we are reminded once again that we will not allow the same foolery, the same lies that we saw to once again occur. Renee Good was killed and murdered on the street of Minneapolis by a reckless, untrained, dangerous ICE agent. What we have been talking about for nearly weeks, what law enforcement themselves here in the Twin Cities have been echoing and saying, that these untrained ICE agents who come to our neighborhoods are not going to only cause harm to other law enforcement, but actually cause harm to our community members. Anyone who sees the video evidences that have already been out will clearly show that Renee, on multiple occasions, waved off other ICE agents who followed and passed her. And once these ICE agents were able to get out of the car, they began to escalate. They became to target her. And she knew that. That is why immediately.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want and watch it take shape. You can plan
to leave the situation knowing how dangerous these people are. And because they even themselves are untrained and the way they responded, she was not a threat. She was a peaceful protester. She was following the Constitution of the United States. She was observing ICE agents knowing what was going to happen to her. In fact, she wasn't alone that day. Other observers were standing around recording because we knew something like this would happen in the streets in Minneapolis or other parts of this country. And it did. In broad daylight, with multiple views, we clearly see a killing by an ICE agent that was not warranted. Not only was it reckless, but it was endangerment to everybody who lived on that street. To shoot in that manner to someone who was leaving is a sign that these people are dangerous. Not only dangerous to themselves, but dangerous to everyone around them. Let's be clear. No uniform, no badge, no federal agency, no one is above the law in the United States of America. No one. That's right. We must name the hard truths. ICE came to Minnesota not to enforce laws. They came to agitate. They came to escalate. They are looking for confrontations, not de-escalations. They're looking to kill people, not to arrest people. Yeah. They are here because they have been sent by the President of the United States to target this community, to target our state, to target our political leaders, and to try to win back the narrative that happened in the past election. We know this is not about policy, but about political rhetoric. And Minnesota knows when politics becomes dangerous, the consequences are high. We have seen the murder of our state Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband. That's political violence that happened in our state. And today, the president is echoing that on the streets of Minneapolis. In fact, it started by targeting the Somali American community. The Somali American community, who overwhelmingly majority are U.S. citizens, overwhelmingly majority born here, but yet continues to target this community, to demonize this community, to scapegoat this community. We will not have that. We will not have that, and we will push back against that. Just earlier today, I spoke to a man who called me multiple times. I thought he was being picked up by X. And he was a person from our community. And he told me that he met Renee. And she was among the people that came to defend the Somali community. That she was known in her effort to speak up, to stand up. And that she was doing this out of her good heart, and most importantly, to take care of her neighbors. What happened to her is not only unjust, what happened to her is murder. We are living in heightened times. We know what is happening to our nation. And we know in this moment, the adversaries of our nation are hoping and praying that somehow this reckless behavior bias, the lies that are coming from the federal government, will turn neighbors against each other, and will turn against neighbor, and to create riots and chaos on the streets of this country. But I will tell you something. We have learned our lessons after the murder of George Floyd. And I'll tell you the story that many people don't know. It is average people who stand up. It is average people who continue to stand up for justice. And today, Minneapolis, we are back again in another moment where we are asking every single person, you stood up, we need you to stand up. If you believe that Renee Good was doing good, then it's you to stand up for that good. In this moment, we call upon our nation. We call upon everyone across this country who believes in justice and law to stand up and tell the truth. There are so many people, just like after the murder of George Floyd, that want us to say what we see on that camera is not true. What we see on that camera is murder that is being justified by the highest office of this nation. We will not allow it. We will not allow it. Do not let these people think that politics is about the powerful elite. Politics in this nation is the people. This democracy is built on average Americans across this country. We are the people in the Constitution of the United States. And it's us that must defend our Constitution, defend our laws, and ask for accountability. Because if we do not get justice for Renee, none of us have justice. And we also know that delayed justice is denied justice. And in this moment right now, we know that BCA yesterday this morning put out a press statement saying that they are leaving the investigation. We are clear about our demands. We want every agency responsible for the protection of the citizens of this great state and city to take their responsibility. We do not believe in Kash Patel's FBI. They are not prosecuting anything. They're refusing to release the documents on Epstein. They're refusing to actually prosecute those who actually targeted Charlie Kirk and others. They are not an agency that the American public believe is going to bring justice. We know justice, it must be done by the local agencies. We are asking both the Minneapolis Police Department, the Hennepin County Sheriff Department, as well as the BCA and others. We have a United States Constitution, but we also have a Minnesota Constitution. We need to use the laws that are on the books to protect Renee, because Renee is all of us. Renee Good is all of us, all the people who have been standing and protesting. Our Constitution is being the question mark, and it is us. So we ask and everyone to call all of these agencies and demand immediately that justice is swift and that these ICE agent is not only prosecuted, but charges are presented. We know the FBI is going to act like they're investigating, but all we have heard from Kristi Noem and the FBI is a story that contradicts the eyewitness and the videos that we all have seen. Finally, I know how painful yesterday has been for our state. But I will just say this and echo one more time. I believe in this state, and I believe in each other. And I believe that there's goodness in Minnesota and Minneapolis. Last night, I witnessed the love on the streets of Minneapolis. I saw people coming in tears, worried, who came to the site in the vigil. And I know we are angry in this moment, but let's use our frustration and anger for change. Let's not let Renee Good's life and her murder be in vain. We are getting a second chance, Minneapolis, after the murder of George Floyd, to get it right. To get it right. No human should be killed in the manner that you saw Renee be killed. And no lie is big enough for all of us to be able to not contradict it. We know what we saw on that video. Renee was leaving and she was shot. This mother, this incredible person that we have lost in this greatest state of Minnesota and the city of Minneapolis, we must not let her death be in vain. She is no longer with us, but she left us a question. And that question is, what are we going to do? And it starts with accountability, and it starts with justice. And then it starts with us recognizing that ICE is not above the law. Neither anyone is above the law, and we need that. So we are calling for all of these agencies to stand up. We know that in this moment that the arc of justice does not bend on its own. It needs all of us. If we want justice, we must be part of that call. We must demand justice by any means necessary.
Right.
Thank you, Jelani. Next, we will hear from Habon from Ayeda Leeds. Let's welcome her, please.
Right.
Good afternoon. Yesterday, Renee Good, a beloved community member, a daughter, and a mother, woke up and began her day with the same intention so many carry, to look out for her community. That commitment cost her life. Immigration enforcement should never place our community in harm's way. It is a civil process, not a militarized action. And it must be carried out, without weapons or force that endangers human lives. When armed tactics are used against immigrants, many of whom are unarmed and simply trying to live, work, and have a regular day, that reaches not only individuals, but the entire community. The depth of this trauma is unmistakable. Minneapolis public schools are closed, a stark reflection of how profoundly our community has been impacted, and that's unfair. We shouldn't be continually be traumatized. We are neighbors, co-workers, parents, and the people who keep up our community and our culture alive. We are raising children, building businesses, and supporting one another. Our humanity does not disappear during an enforcement encounter. It is constant, inherent, and deserving of protection. Community safety means protecting every life. Without exception, we call for immigration practices rooted in dignity, de-escalation, and respect, and for an end of enforcement approach that rely on fear and violence. Our community deserves policies that keep families whole and allow everyone to live, contribute, and belong without the constant threat of harm. I want to send our entire community wants to send our condolences to Renee Good's family, friends, and her neighbors. May her life and action be remembered in our city, in our state. Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Michelle Gross, the president of Communities United Against Police Brutality. Let's welcome Michelle.
Good afternoon. My name is Michelle Gross, MICHELLE-GROSS. I am the president of Communities United Against Police Brutality, and I wish to talk today about the local connection to law enforcement. In November, Minneapolis Police Chief O'Hara made a comment blaming crime in Minneapolis on Somali youth. That comment was like throwing red meat to a rabid dog. The Trump administration ran with it, sending ICE agents to attack our community, and he has since been threatening to send troops in as well. Then, of course, since then, a social media slop broker manufactured a story about fraud that had already been prosecuted, amplifying the attack on the Somali community and prompting Trump to send in 2,000 more federal agents. The community has stepped up to this challenge. Every day, regular Minneapolis residents devote hours to documenting ICE conduct, warning our neighbors, bringing food and other goods to neighbors who are sheltering in place, and providing other support. These efforts have blunted some of the worst of what ICE tries to do. This is the real reason the agent killed Renee. She was one of many observers documenting their behavior. Other ICE agents have shown up at observers' homes or called them on their personal cell phones with threatening messages. Yet even after this horrific violence by ICE, the community continues to go out and do what we need to do to keep our neighbors safe. There are literally hundreds of people in the streets right now as we speak, driving around, checking ICE and their conduct. Yet the role of the Minneapolis police in all of this remains problematic. Back on June 3rd, the MPD fully assisted ICE by escorting them to the site of their raid on Lake Street and then escorting them out again. Since then, after the strong rebuke by the community, they have gone the opposite direction, staying very hands-off and stepping into and failing to step in to address obviously unlawful conduct by ICE, although both the separation ordinance and their own policy allows them to intercede. In fact, O'Hara said that if they get calls regarding ICE illegal activity, they would be forwarded to 311 and treated as low priority calls. That's what he said. Yesterday, though, was a new low. MPD and their SWAT team showed up just after the shooting, but not to address or arrest the perpetrator, but to engage in crowd control and to escort ICE, including the shooter, out of the area.
Yep. Say that.
It does not appear that they even bothered to learn the identity of the shooter. This is deeply troubling. It's clear after yesterday that we're the ones who keep us safe, but we need prosecuting authorities locally to help us, because none of us can bring charges against the agent who killed Renee Good or the other agents who assisted him. And we're not going to wait for the FBI whitewash to cover this up. At minimum, that agent should be sitting in jail right now awaiting a trial.
Yes, sir.
Right now. Rather than spin and lies from the White House, we need evidence and truth in a courthouse. Many people have asked whether ICE agents can be arrested and prosecuted locally. They can if they commit crimes that break Minnesota law. And many law professors have written articles about that. So yes, they absolutely can be arrested and they can be prosecuted here locally, and they should be. Murder is an egregious crime and it must be prosecuted. Therefore, we demand that the agent who committed this crime be arrested and prosecuted by our local authorities and in the community where this outrageous crime happened. Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Monique Cullors-Doty, who is one of the founders of Black Lives Matter Minnesota. Let's welcome her.
Love y'all. Thank you so much. So here we are again. Now, this is the first time that we've had one of our family murdered by ICE, but we are no stranger to police and law enforcement homicides in the Twin Cities, and we do not need ICE here adding to the body count. So I say, get the ICE out. It is time. We have seen the terror that Donald Trump and his administration has unleashed across the country. We have seen how white supremacists have been emboldened. We have seen the attacks on all kinds of people, but right now, we are seeing the attacks on pretty much everyone in this country. And what it boils down to is that America has never addressed its love affair with white supremacy. That America has never rendered.
Listen, it's called Connect Team, and it's insane. I don't do schedules or timesheets manually anymore. And it works? Oh, like you would.
They have never called for its ending, and they continue to uplift and support and elevate and make excuses for the tyranny that is caused by white nationalists and racists. That's how we came up with our president who is in office, and that's how we came up with ICE. No human is illegal. So let's be clear, who was on this planet first? The planet was black. Black people were here on this land before anyone. Brown people were here on this land before the white man showed up. But somehow, some people who got a free pass to come into this country when their ancestors entered through Ellis Island, who didn't have to turn through all the hurdles that we're asking people to go through at the southern border, all the hurdles that have been put up against people coming from African countries, other than the Afrikaners, the white South Africans who are now allowed to come into this country. But yet it's a whole lot of nerve to think that somebody else should be denied access and the freedoms that America is supposed to offer, in the American dream that has been for my people an American nightmare. It has gone on far too long, And now we have Renee Good, who was a victim, someone who was standing up against ICE, who showed up, who took the time to care. She should not have lost her life. That shooting was completely unjustified, and I know what I'm talking about. I am the aunt of Marcus Golden, murdered by St. Paul police in 2015. He was shot by Jeremy Dover, Spike, and Dan Peck from 180 feet away. So I have to say this. That case was officially sent by John Choi, Ramsey County prosecutor, to Keith Ellison, and Keith Ellison refused to act upon it and charge the officers. But yet I saw Keith Ellison on national news last night saying he will leave no stone unturned for Renee Good. So Keith Ellison performed for the cameras. Let's be clear. Keith Ellison is here for the show. He is not here for justice. And let's remember, if this case ends up in the hands of Keith Ellison, it was Keith Ellison who requested that the judge take a downward departure on the sentencing of Kim Potter, who killed Dante Wright. You can't have it both ways. Let's call a spade a spade. So what we need is a clear and swift prosecution of this murderous officer. We need ICE out. We need the shooter to be made an example of across this country, because we know when black and brown people get in trouble with the law, they are quick to be made an example of. So let's make an example of this man who so recklessly shot into that vehicle, who needlessly shot into that vehicle when he could have moved his dumb ass out the way. It is completely unacceptable. And when I see the messaging that is coming out by the federal government in support of this shooter, calling on us to believe that our lies are lying, that we are not seeing what we are seeing, of course, as they constantly do, denying what the laws are, it is absolutely unacceptable Completely unacceptable. Not only do we need ICE out, but we need accountability from the top.
Come on.
So Kristi Noem needs to be terminated as well.
Yes. Yes.
She is reckless, and her actions in defense of ICE, that she has been promoting this propaganda, that it is reckless, it is unprofessional, and she is incompetent to serve in that position. That's right. And her role in that position, understand, is to uplift white supremacy and to target people of color. It is a role of hatred. We can't change her heart, and I don't care about her heart, but we should change her employment.
Listen.
We should change her references and her recommendations. There needs to be accountability, not from this officer, but Kristi Noem as well. And it needs to start immediately. This family should not wait for justice. And remember, we fought for Jamar Clark. We occupied a precinct for Jamar Clark. We did not get justice for Jamar Clark. But when the city burned, after George Floyd, all of a sudden there were some charges. So for those who are on the media talking about, don't burn it down, don't set it on fire, let me tell you this, we need justice and we need it now. Because what happens after that is on your hands. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
Next, we will hear from Toussaint Morrison, a longtime organizer in the community.
I would first like to commend the brave students and staff of Minneapolis Roosevelt High School who stood up against ICE. I'd also like to commend all the hotel workers who have stood up against ICE, refused them service, or have taken the day off of work to not serve ICE. When I see all the cops looking here, when I see all the sheriffs looking here, if a student at Minneapolis Roosevelt High School can do it, you can too. You can too. And so can the governor, and so can Mary Moriarty come down here and make an appearance, and so can every elected official that got their campaign in blood on George Floyd. Ran their campaign on state-sanctioned violence, got their position, and are now nowhere to be found. I don't want to make any mistake about it. Renee Nicole Good was murdered. Renee Nicole Good was lynched in public. She was publicly executed. And as Michelle said, the MPD showed up to get the perimeter, not to make an arrest. It shows you the teeth that they have for their own community, but not for domestic terrorism being levied onto Minneapolis. It shows you when they're quiet about something, and then when they're going to say something, when a false narrative is put out about fraud in Somali daycares. I grew up in Riverside Plaza, and I could tell you right away, ICE had no clue what they were doing, because when they entered the facility, they looked lost. They looked like me when I was 4 years old when I came to Minneapolis. It's a labyrinth in there. And I grew up with Chinese, South Korean, East African, West African, Egyptian, white, black people there. ICE is not being deployed to Mississippi and Arkansas to teach kids how to read. They're being deployed to Minneapolis to turn the state blue. Let's just understand what's happening right now. That is what is happening right now. Make no mistake about it. And for all the people and all the conservative content creators showing different angles of the shooting of Renee Nicole Good, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, why are so many people recording it? Because nobody trusts the law enforcement here. And why don't people trust the law enforcement here? Because they've carried out public executions since June 15th, 1920 in Duluth. So we've looked at over a century of people being publicly killed by law enforcement and then told to go home and then told that we're wrong for what we just saw. So what we're seeing right now is a false narrative put out from Trump saying that he's surprised this officer is still alive and had to go to the hospital, when in reality, we all saw him just walk down the street and wave people off. Did you see the same video I saw? Come on. Yeah. Did you see the same video I saw?
Yeah.
And then we have Kristi Noem, which we all knew what the first lie was. Adverse conditions? This is Minnesota with 40 degrees. This is balmy. These are not adverse conditions. That was the first lie, where we knew that what she was saying was going to victim blame the person that was killed. Come on. And that's what they keep doing. That's what they keep putting out. And they want you to believe that Renee had this coming. That George Floyd had this coming. That Dalal Eid had this coming. And then they want you to go home. If the MPD can't do anything about this, but yet they can do something about any black person just going about their business, what does that say? Come on. If the Hennepin County Sheriff's Department can pull over anybody they want and do false searches, what does it say about doing nothing about this?
Come on. This side.
There's a message for the DA right now in Hennepin County. There's a message for John Choi. There's a message for Keith Ellison. There's a message for the new DA, the candidates that are coming into Hennepin County. You better have some teeth.
This side.
You better be able to do something. Because a lot of these cowards here in uniforms with badges on, they wouldn't be able to hold their ground at Minneapolis Roosevelt High School. What does that tell you? That the people here, all of you here that showed up, are doing more than the people that get paid to show up here. Come on. That's the state that we're looking at. And right now, we need to take toll of who voted for this.
Listen.
Who wanted this? Who said nothing about this while it was happening? Who said nothing when they pulled up on Lake Street and said it was a raid, but then terrorized all of our Latino and African and brown and black family? Who are the people that signed off on this? When Georgia Ford pulled up on Axel Henry a few weeks ago, that interview has not aged well. That man lied through his teeth and said that he did not assist ICE. When we all saw St. Paul Police Department badges assisting ICE. He's doing the same thing as Trump.
Yes.
So if you got a St. Paul police chief lying through his teeth, assisting ICE, you have Lisa DeMuth saying that she supported Nick Shirley, coming in here and addressing fraud and only attacking black communities, but not showing up to a single white daycare in Cold Spring. Come on. What does that say? You have Mike Lindell that makes this state an embarrassment, and then you have Chris Medell who defends killer cops. Look at the candidates that you have. Look who voted for this. And then you have Brad Finstad, a House representative, who said, this is a somber reminder of the dangers that ICE faces every day. And he's in New Ulm. I'm saying this right now to white communities in Cold Spring, in New Ulm, where Brad is at, in Hibbing, in Chisholm. If ICE pulled up to your high school and started pulling people out, how would you feel?
Come on. This on.
Nobody is illegal on stolen land.
Yes. Say that.
Understand your history and how you got here in the first place. Do not deny that. And this is tough. And I was thinking about this when Nikema contacted. It was the first thing after Dalal Eid when he got killed, shot him in the head. And a friend told me the James Baldwin quote, come on, if they take me in the morning, they're going to come for you in the night.
Come on.
You didn't think it had anything to do with you when they were killing black and brown people.
Say that.
You didn't think it had anything to do with you when they were terrorizing Latino and East African students at Minneapolis Roosevelt High School. And then they come out here and kill a white woman, and you see a piece of yourself in it. And you have a fraction of the experience that we as black men have had for a very long time, seeing ourselves in the bodies of Jamar Clark, of Dalal Eid, of George Floyd, of Terrence Franklin, seeing in all of it. And now you see yourself in it a little bit. And you have an opportunity. Take a look around you and who is saying nothing. Take a look around you, who has supported this.
Yes.
Take a look around you and look at the candidates that you can vote for. And then also take a look around you and look at the uniforms that are doing nothing about it.
Say that.
That are doing absolutely nothing about it.
Come on.
If they take me in the morning, they will come for you in the night.
Oh, yes. Woo. Heaven.
Thank you, Toussaint. Next, we will hear from Eliza Darris, the Executive Director of the Minnesota Freedom Fund. Please welcome him.
I, like many of the activists and organizers and advocates behind me, we have found ourselves standing in front of podiums like this time and time and time and time again.
Come on.
When local, or in this case, federal law enforcement have decided to use lethal force against us.
Come on.
Without right. And here we are again. We watched that man literally position himself in front of Renee's vehicle and shoot round after round after round into her. Now, law enforcement are supposed to justify every last single round. He shot her 3 times in the face. The rest of law enforcement made sure that no one, say no one, no one in the crowd could render aid.
Come on.
There was an actual physician that said, hey, I'm a physician. Let me render aid. And they said, stand back and watch her die. And so our expectation is that in tragedies like this, law enforcement would undergo due diligence, determine whether or not a crime has been committed, and bring charges.
Yes.
And ultimately, for a jury of this person peers to bring a conviction. Now that's in the normal situation, what we would normally expect to happen. But we're not dealing with normal times. These aren't normal situations. We have a federal government threatening other portions of its government and saying, if you hold anyone accountable, you'll be terminated. Say terminated.
Terminated.
You'll be fired. Say fired.
Fired.
You may be arrested. Say arrested.
Arrested.
And so they do nothing. We can expect nothing to come from the federal government. So what does that leave? It leaves the state. I'm here today to call upon our local officials to stand up. Say stand up.
Stand up.
And do something.
And do something.
Stand up.
Stand up.
And do something.
And do something.
Why did we send you here?
Yes.
If the county attorney won't prosecute, if the attorney general won't prosecute, if the governor won't order an investigation, if the sheriff won't conduct an investigation, if the police chief won't conduct an investigation, and then if the BCA this morning will release a statement and say the feds told us to stay out of it, and then they say, okay,
Wow.
we'll stay out of it. When have they ever done that? We cannot expect the federal government to do anything in this situation. And you all heard law professor Nikema say, we locally have the authority to investigate and to bring charges. Now, if a judge makes a jurisdictional determination later, so be it. But we expect this county attorney in this county, right here in Minneapolis, to bring charges.
Yes.
We expect this attorney general office to support any investigative needs, any charges that may be brought. The support coming from the top is what we need, because we will get justice nowhere else. They've already said it. They've already expressed it. We should not expect it. So we need our local authorities to stand up or tell us you are abandoning us. Tell us you are going to allow federal tyranny. We're talking about murder.
Come on. Yeah. Come on.
Say that you're going to leave us at the hands of a federal government that is unchecked, that has no checks, no balances. Tell us that you're going to allow them to murder us and do nothing. Then we can make a decision of who we need in those seats to protect and defend us.
That way.
Thank you, Pilar. Next, we'll hear from Rebecca Weigel from Unidos, Minnesota. Let's welcome Rebecca.
All right.
The ICE officer who shot and killed legal observer Renee Good must be held accountable. There is precedent for state authorities arresting and charging federal officers of crimes. Minnesota officials must use their authority to arrest and charge this officer as they would anyone who shot and killed another human being. Given the gross incompetence of this agency, ICE should immediately cease their surge in Minnesota and stop terrorizing our communities. Further, we call on Minnesota businesses and institutions to stand up to ICE.
Yes.
Corporations like Target and Cub have been allowing ICE to stage raids in their parking lots, including private lots. In order to keep our communities safe, we are working with teachers, hospital workers, and are inviting all workers and employers to uphold our Fourth Amendment rights against illegal searches and seizures. Protecting our constitutional rights is not the job of just one community. It cannot fall only on the brave people who step up to witness ICE's abuses. Upholding our constitutional rights is the responsibility of every institution that serves the public. What we do now will determine the future of our democracy. Target is headquartered here. If they wanted, they could set a national standard by refusing to let ICE use their lots for raids. Instead, they've allowed families to be snatched from cars and sidewalks. They've allowed for these ICE invaders to prepare and use their property for terror. We need Target to step up. We need Target and all Minnesota businesses to make a choice: protect our community or enable harm. Thank you.
Yes, we're still boycotting Target. Let's be clear. Next, we'll hear from the gatekeeper, hear from George Floyd Square. Let's welcome her.
Talk that truth. You're going to have to get that after.
Good afternoon, each and every one of you guys. I bring you good trouble.
Yeah.
Good trouble I bring you guys come from 38th in Chicago.
Speak up.
Good trouble I bring you from 38th in Chicago. This started 6 years ago. Police taking a man's life, George Floyd. Gianna was 6 years old when they took George Floyd. Renee Good Her son is 6 years old, and they took her from her son. Winston Smith, federal killed him. Shaft killed Ricky Cobbs. Come on. With no justice at all. Now we have Renee killed FBI federal government. Minneapolis police need to come and stand with the community. They have no power. So now it's time for them to stand up with us to show us that they can stand with us and support us as the community. Defund the police. If we defund the police, we as a community can fight and stand and take care of our own community. We can protect our community. It has been shown. We've been doing this for 6 years at George Floyd, and it ain't never stopped yet. It's ongoing. It keep on going. But to take a woman's life is not acceptable. It's our streets. We have the right to shut these streets down. Again. Make the city pay. Again. And again. It was not about losing money when George Floyd died. We as a peoples can cause them to lose more money now. If we don't stand together, we're going to fall. Together we stand, divided we fall. We as a community got to stop talking and do the work. We cannot wait till somebody die again to do the work. ICE is a demon. They are not human beings. They are killers that killing on target. I watched them drag a white woman out of her car pregnant. Had no sympathy for her and dragged her from one car to another car. I'm here to stand with the community all over nationwide. North, south, east, west, it doesn't matter. 4 blocks from George Floyd, 2 blocks over where this accident happened at. And we will not stop until justice gets served. And we will not stop until they arrest the officer. We demand that he be arrested. And if he don't be arrested, we're going to shut this city down. Who's street? Our street. Who's street? Our street. Who's street? Our street. And we mean that.
Yes, we do.
This street will be shut down and justice will be served. Come on, baby. That's right.
Next, we'll hear from Trayvon Cruz, co-founder of Black Lives Matter Minnesota.
Renee Good, say her name. Say her name. Say her name. And we've been getting questions just like Elijah said, why wasn't the doctor allowed to give CPR or to render aid to Renee after she was shot in the face multiple times by a murderous ICE agent on the streets of Minneapolis? Why did it take EMS 15 minutes to get there? Why was her body just laying out in the street like that for a very, very, very long time? These things are very, very, very unacceptable. And also what's unacceptable is when the BCA says the FBI tells them that they can't do nothing, but we also remember when Ricky Cobb was murdered that our governor told the Hennepin County attorney here that she needs to drop the case. And that case was dropped when we watched the state trooper open up a door and shoot a black man. And then so we have levels of authoritarianism in our government. We have authoritarianism at the federal level, and we have authoritarianism at the state level. So we're calling on Governor Tim Walz to stand up. Minnesota has the 3rd or 2nd biggest racial wealth gap in the United States. This is an excellent time
for Tim Walz to address that and do an executive order on reparations for Black Americans whose ancestors descend from U.S. chattel slavery. This is an excellent time for Tim Walz to do an executive order on the George Floyd and Policing Act. Yes. This is an excellent time for those in St. Paul to address ICE agents and for the mayor of Minneapolis to follow the mayor of New York's lead and call for ICE agents to be arrested like Mayor Mamdani has done in the great state of New York.
Yeah.
No good cops in a racist system.
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 So we have this racist system, and for a long time, this racist system would harm and just hurt Black people. You guys just see Black people coming out and you think, oh, they're just complaining, but now you're seeing it spilling over into your community. White supremacy and institutional racism has no boundaries. It's murderous. It kills and destroys. And if it continues to go unchecked, it can creep into everyone's household. So let's come together as Minnesotans. Let's come together as Americans. Let's just come together as the human family and stand up to white supremacy and institutional racism as a community and as a nation together.
Yeah.
Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Peace.
We have just a couple more speakers. Next, we'll hear from Satara Strong Allen, a longtime organizer and the executive director of Love First. Let's welcome her.
Say enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
My heart is heavy, I'm sure, as everybody else's is. And first and foremost, I want to send my condolences to the family of Renee Good, her partner, her child. I want to send my condolences to the teachers and staff at Roosevelt High School and South High School and the students. At first, when I saw the video of Renee Good being murdered in broad daylight by ICE agents, I thought, you know, this is ridiculous that anybody is going to sit by and allow the government to orchestrate attacks on their own citizens. But then I thought back to the experiences we've had here in the Twin Cities. I thought about Jamar Clark. I thought about Philadelphia in the 80s when they dropped a whole bomb on MOVE and the Africa families just for advocating for civil rights and advocating for animals of all things. And I thought, this isn't new, right? And we cannot sit back and allow this man to continue to orchestrate government attacks on their citizens. There's the law. The law, according to the Department of Justice, says, sorry, I take my time. According to the Department of Justice, Title I policy on use of force, firearms may not be discharged solely to disable moving vehicles. Specifically, firearms may not be discharged at a moving vehicle unless a person in the vehicle is threatening the officer or another person with deadly force by means other than the vehicle, or the vehicle is operated in a manner that threatens to cause death or serious physical injury, and no other objectively reasonable means of defense appear to exist, which includes moving out of the path of the vehicle. Standing in front of a moving vehicle is called an officer-created jeopardy and danger, and is not an excuse. We need to charge that officer with the murder of Renee Good. He was standing on the side, both officers were standing on the side of the vehicle, so they are not in front of it, but even if they were, it is an officer-created jeopardy and danger. The fault lies not on Renee Good. for responding to the directions that she was being given by the very same ICE agents who killed her.
Yeah.
It falls on the ICE agents and the government to hold these people accountable, these Proud Boys that the federal administration has hired to attack our communities. Thank you.
Indeed.
For our last speaker, Tashira Garraway Allen, Family Supporting Families Against Police Violence. Let's welcome her.
I don't have much of a voice today, so I know you guys can barely hear me. But I needed to come out and speak today because you guys are witnessing what our families have endured over and over and over.
Come on.
You guys are seeing them do an active cover-up after we seen with our own eyes what happened. If they can cover this up while we can clearly see what happened, imagine what they did for the videos that they got to and they were able to tamper with.
Come on.
Imagine what they did for the videos that they would not release to our community and to our families. The only difference this time is they didn't have access to the videos. Our community had the access to the videos. That's why we got the truth. The reason we got the truth, you guys, is because we controlled the truth that got out to the world for the world to see white supremacists and hatred at its finest.
Yeah.
But white supremacy does not care who it kills. White supremacy does not care who it hurts. As you can see, they murdered a white woman in broad daylight. White supremacy has one agenda.
Yes, son.
And that is to control and to stay at the top while people that believe in equality remain at the bottom. Renee Good believed in equality and she was out there observing. And they murdered her and we seen what happened. But the moral of the story is think about Justin Tigan, who his family has a lawsuit against this same building right now, has a lawsuit because they would not release the videos of the truth of what happened to him. Think about Ricky Cobb. We just stood in this building a year and a half ago for Ricky Cobb. And the governor told Mary Mariani to drop the charges. You created the stage for what ICE came in here and did to Renee when you denied our families of justice. When you delay justice, you deny it. And an injustice done to one of us is an injustice done to all of us. So this is the time that we band together more now than ever before. Do not argue with each other. Do not go back and forth. We must band together because we have a bigger enemy at large that hates all of us, and that's white supremacy. Thank you. We will call forward Cortez Rice to say the Asada speech. Oh, well, we can take questions first.
Are there any questions? Any questions?
Yes. Go ahead. By any chance, do you all know if the officer, the ICE agent, is going to be detained by Minneapolis police officers? What do you guys think about that?
Does anybody want to take?
First and foremost, that is the ask today. The ask is for the agencies that are constitutionally required to take matters that are specifically happening in the city of Minneapolis to do their job. Nothing gives us a clear reminder that a cover-up is clearly on the way by kicking out BCA. But BCA has still a responsibility to step up because it is an law enforcement engaged killing. And so we are asking for the Minneapolis Police Department. We're also asking for Hennepin County Sheriff to begin their own investigation in this matter. And as Tashir and others have said, there is incredible evidence, clearly from all the videos and the eyewitnesses who are ready to speak directly to what happened. This is not something that happened in darkness. This happened in light. And the public already knows exactly what happened. Law enforcement need to act swiftly. And this is how we show as a nation, as a country, that the laws are on the books and no one is above those laws. So BCA, Minneapolis Police, and as well as the sheriff need to take their responsibility to uphold the Minnesota Constitution and all of the other jurisdiction constitutions by law, that they are required to respond to the murder of a resident of this great state and of this city as well.
And
could this be viewed, in addition to everything, is a layer of this potentially also like violence toward women, not seen as femicide?
It's absolutely violence toward women. The fact that the ICE agent in question knew that he was dealing with a woman, looked her in the face, and fired 3 kill shots shows you that he had no regard for her humanity or her femininity. And we've seen it before. Justine Rusacek-Damon, who was killed by the Minneapolis Police Department as a woman, unarmed, trying to report a crime, shot in cold blood. Not to mention the numerous women being dragged by ICE, being treated like they are not human. It's unacceptable. So for us as mothers, we're outraged. This is despicable and it's unconscionable. But what do we expect when the commander-in-chief is a rapist? What do we expect? Definitely a sexist. And people voted for him anyway, not once but twice. So what does that say about our society? It's absolutely unconscionable and disgusting. Any other questions?
So, what concrete steps can we, the people, take today? What can we do?
Well, Jaylani referenced earlier, one thing that we can do is put pressure on our local elected officials. The governor has authority over the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. We don't give a damn what the FBI has said. There's nothing stopping the governor from forcing the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension to conduct its own investigation based on what evidence it has. All they need to do is bring enough evidence to the county attorney to show probable cause for an arrest. And then the rest of the system will play out the way that it needs to. But the governor has authority. He's just not using it. The mayor of Minneapolis, who we saw drop expletives and act outraged, has the authority over the Minneapolis Police Department. As a matter of fact, because of residents in the city of Minneapolis voting to give him sole authority, he can direct the chief of Minneapolis Police to conduct an investigation into the murder of Renee Good. And the Hennepin County commissioners have authority over the Hennepin County Sheriff's Department. And they can direct the Hennepin County Sheriff to conduct an investigation into the murder of Renee Good. So don't fall for the okie doke and think, oh, the FBI took it over, there's nothing that they can do. Why do we have laws on the books that allow local government to bring charges against federal officers if there was nothing they could do? So we as the people need to use our voices and we need to hold them accountable. I don't care how, if we voted for them in the past, if we think they're good people, if we think they're nice, it's time out for Minnesota niceness and it's time for justice and accountability. Period.
We also want to know if this officer right now is even still in Minnesota and engaging in ICE activity. We have no clarity that this person who just murdered this incredible woman is still out. So we need the media, because I will remind you, after the murder of George Floyd, no one is safe. We saw that, including the media, who are trying to get clear information for the public, have been part of the target. And this disinformation that is happening from Kristi Noem and others need to be held at check. We are asking for the media to do also your job in making sure that the hard questions are presented and laid right in front of these leaders who are cowardice in this moment, instead of standing up for justice, not only for Renee, but all the Renees across this country.
Real quick, one of y'all just said that Tim Walz made a call to Mary Marjorie to drop the charges with Ricky Cobb. I was in the room when that happened. So is it kind of silly for us to ask Tim Walz to make Mary Marjorie do it if you know he can do it for a black man?
No, we're not asking Tim Walz to make Mary Moriarty do anything. What we're asking him to do is to exercise his oversight and authority of the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension for them to conduct an investigation, regardless of what the FBI has said. They're using the FBI's decision to exclude them from the case as a justification to do no investigation at all, when there's plenty of eyewitness statements, as has been said, as well as video evidence that they can begin to analyze in order to present a report to Mary Moriarty or even to Keith Ellison. Whether we trust Keith Ellison or not, the reality is he is the Attorney General, and he has the power to bring charges if he has given a case file that shows probable cause to make an arrest.
Who gives him that case file? Do you know?
It would be if the BCA or the Hennepin County sheriffs.
From the BCA, he won't get that file.
But the BCA, no one's taking anything from the BCA.
Donald Trump has said that Minneapolis and Minnesota cannot do anything about it. So
That's not exactly what's happening, right? The FBI, in our opinion, at least in my opinion, is attempting to engage in a cover-up, right? That's why they want all the evidence for themselves. But that doesn't mean that there isn't additional evidence out there that a Minnesota-based law enforcement agency can review and bring forward what they have to a prosecutor so that they can determine whether there is probable cause to arrest the ICE agent in question.
That's why we have a different embassy to charge the agent for murder.
And I would frankly posit that the video and the eyewitness statements themselves are adequate for probable cause for an arrest. All law enforcement needs in order to arrest someone is probable cause. And I would absolutely posit that that video and the eyewitness statements give them that probable cause. And that is why that man should be sitting in jail right now instead of running around in our community causing more harms.
And to Michelle's point, we have an example in the case of Justine Rusacek Damon. Remember, there were no witnesses and there was no video, but Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman was quick to bring charges against a Black Muslim Somali officer who shot and killed Justine Rusacek Damon. And that officer was actually convicted. And Justine's family was paid, $20 million without any other evidence beyond the fact that a white woman was killed. So we know that there's ample evidence to show probable cause for this ICE agent to be arrested. And the fact that he callously left the scene, he didn't even stay. He just walked away because he understood his white privilege. And the fact that he would be protected by an administration engaging in white supremacy and domestic terrorism and abuse of American citizens. I want to also remind us that we can apply pressure to the elected officials at the state as well as the federal level. All these Republicans who are claiming they care so much about fraud, why are you silent with regard to this fraud that's being perpetuated upon this community? Complete silence. So it shows you that they're being disingenuous. And again, Congress has the power to take action. As I said in the beginning, they're the ones who fund ICE. They provide oversight of ICE. So they can do something about ICE. And it's up to us to apply the pressure to make that happen. So we're going to end right there. If there are no more questions, we want to thank you all for taking the time to be here. Everybody from the community who showed up, we thank you. Those on the front line showing up, Whipple building, putting your bodies on the line, we thank you. The media, we thank you for being here. And Cortez Rice wants to end with the Assata Shakur chant. Those words ring true now more than ever.
All right, real quick though, we all see that this is happening to everybody. The time is right now to create the new Rainbow Coalition. That means every race, every ethnicity, every religion, let's join together and fight this together. Everybody fist up. We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to win.
We have a duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to win.
We have a duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Make sure she hears us. We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to win.
We have a duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
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 All power to the people.
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 Justice for
Yeah, you know, let me give my buddy Mark Weimels a shout out. Let me see if I don't remember what this video is called. Street photo.